You had to hear that spelling. So everybody, that's a really catchy tune. Everybody knows it, right? Anybody not heard that before? All right. Oh, my bad. Okay, apparently my mic's not working.
No, that one's for the video.
Oh, I am so sorry. Okay, this is better. Okay, I don't need to repeat myself, do I? Everybody got the D? Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so anyway, that song is one that's catchy. Everybody knows the tune. And I will tell you that it's not the catchiest topic. It's actually still kind of taboo today. I mean, most women, they talk to their counselors about divorce. They might talk to their hairdresser about it, and their friends have no idea what's going on. Okay, so we're going to spend the next few minutes talking about divorce. And you might be asking, why is this important to you? Why am I wanting to share this information with you today? The reason is this: 50% of all marriages in the U.S. end in divorce. 60% of all marriages, second marriages, end in divorce. And even if we choose not to divorce, women outlive men. So it's not an if you're going to be on your own, it's a when, whether it's by choice or not. So that's why we're having the conversation today about divorce. So I will say, I'm not even sure when I need to flip my slides. Let me take care of that real quick. Here we go. Whoop. Okay. Yeah, so the reason this matters to you is for the reason it's going to happen if it's not happened already. So what I'd love to do now, I'm going to ask you to give me a show of hands. How many of you in the room have actually been divorced before? Okay, I'm going to ask you to keep your hands up. How many of you have parents that divorced? Keep your hands up now. If you raise your hand, you got to keep it up. Parents divorced? Okay, and how many of you know someone who's divorced? Sibling, neighbor, coworker? Okay, most of the room. Okay, this is why it's important for you to listen up today. And I'm not real good with the mic, so I'm trying. Good enough? Okay, awesome, that's fabulous. So I want to give you a little bit of my story, and you may be asking, you know, what the heck do I know about divorce? I mean, I'm sporting a big wedding ring and anniversary ring and all of that, but I actually have a story I want to share with you about my path through this that's given me the experience to have the knowledge to talk to you about it. So picture this with me. I'm fresh out of college, got married, was actually on my way home from work one day. It was a Friday afternoon. It's 3 weeks late. And, you know, I wasn't sure, so I figured I'm going to stop at the drugstore and get a pregnancy test. And I was kind of nervous. I was really excited. We hadn't really talked about when, but we knew we wanted to have kids. So I got home really eager to tell my husband that I might be pregnant. Exciting news. So I walk in, oh, honey, I got some good news I might have to tell you. I'm not real sure yet, but, and he looked at me and he said, Donna, I've got some news as well. I don't want to be married anymore. Almost 2 years married, thought I was pregnant, and he calls the D word. Not a real good feeling. When I ask you to do this with me, I heard the, ooh, okay, close your eyes for me. Everybody, like we were doing the meditation earlier, close your eyes and feel with me what I was feeling in that moment. Ooh, honey, I might be pregnant. Oh, but I want a divorce. Say the words out loud. What are you feeling? Anger, sadness, shock, disbelief, terrified, right? The questions were, I can't even, the questions were just crazy. There were all kinds of questions. There was all kinds of fear. I'm going, oh my God, how am I going to be a mom on my own? Am I even pregnant? I don't know. Am I going to be able to stay in this house? Why me? I mean, I was the golden child, the first to graduate from college in our family. What? I'm getting divorced? I couldn't believe it. So, all right, so I pulled up my big girl britches, did what I had to do, moved on. Go with me just a few years later. ended up in another relationship that could have ended in divorce. And I have to tell y'all right now, I'm having a really hard moment because this is a very traumatic thing for me to share with everybody. Okay, smart, bright, good wage earner. I literally decided, I got engaged to a gentleman. He was in the military. I moved to another state. I gave up my job, took a job in another career, and took a pay cut. Got there and found out 2 months later that he was not divorced yet. That's exactly what I said. That was devastating. Okay, the big thing is, and the great thing for me is, we keep getting these things that happen for a reason. So I said, okay, God, I hear you. I've got to start working on myself so I'm not attracting the not right people. And I did. That's wonderful. The interesting thing is that just a few years later, I ended up marrying my high school sweetheart, the boy next door. Okay? And my mama, I can hear her, she's saying, Donna, this is what you should have done to begin with. Kind of I told you, but not really. But that worked, and we'll be celebrating our 29th wedding anniversary this year. So the message is you got to do the work. You got to do the work on yourself. So now we're actually going to talk about the 3 tips. I don't even think I mentioned yet that I was going to share 3 tips with you, but I want to share with you 3 things that you need to know today, regardless of whether or not divorce is in your vision, because when that word does come up, I want you to be prepared, okay? Let's see. Oh, they're already there at the bottom. Okay, so number 1 is knowing your assets and your debts. What do you own and what do you owe? Questions for you. Do you know how much your husband's 401k is worth today? Heck, do you even know what yours is? Did you leave one at an old job? Do you know what your mortgage balance is? Whose name's on the mortgage? Do you have life insurance? Do you own it? Or is it group insurance through your employer? These are all important things for us to know, divorce or not. So what I see in my practice on a day-to-day basis is women are divorcing. They are going into mediation. They are negotiating with their soon-to-be ex-spouse's attorneys on how to divide the marital assets, and they have no clue what that marital estate looks like. You can't negotiate on something that you don't know. So, big thing for you to do is to make sure you understand your financial well-being. What is my situation, regardless? Because remember, it's not an if, it's a when it's going to happen, okay? So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, it's actually knowing what it's costing you to live. We're a spending nation. We go out, we see, we want, we get, and we pay for it later, all right? Okay. Some of us, we know what our monthly bills are because they're kind of routine. And the reason this is important for you and why you need to know what you're really spending and what it's costing you to live is because if you divorce and you are asking for any kind of alimony or support going forward, you have to be able to clearly articulate what your living expenses are. It's nobody else's job to say this is what it's costing me to live. And the alimony that you might get if there's a big income discrepancy between your income and your spouse's is going to be based off of your need as well as his ability to pay. Okay, so this is huge. You gotta understand, and I don't use the B word, budget, because people freak out over that, but you really do need to know where your money's being spent. It's gonna help you make wiser decisions regardless. The third tip is building a team. Now, as soon as the word divorce comes up, most people run straight to a divorce attorney. And that's not a bad thing. You're definitely going to need an attorney to help you through that process because divorce is legal. It's a marriage contract. We don't enter marriage thinking of it that way, but it is. So we have to have an attorney. but it might not be the first person that you hire. My recommendation is, and you may already be working with a counselor if your marriage is in disrepair. If you're not working with a counselor, definitely hire somebody to work with, and maybe even a divorce coach. Divorce coaches are great. The reason this is so important to you is because we are emotional human beings and we have to process the stuff. But when it comes to the legal thing, that's a logical process, and we've got to separate the emotions from the logical. And this will save you a ton of money because you don't want to be all emotional when you're making decisions regarding your financial well-being and your divorce. So that's the counselor and the divorce coach. Then I suggest you add someone with a certified divorce financial analyst designation. That's what I do. This designation actually gives me the skill set necessary to help you understand what any financial scenarios you might be interested in with your divorce. It's going to help you understand not what your financial well-being is going to look like the day the divorce is final, but a year from now, 5 years from now, 15 years from now. So when you're making that division of assets, the attorneys are going, we're splitting the household 50-50. You're going to get half, he's going to get half. That's where we start. But are you getting the right half? Are you getting the half that's going to allow you to keep food on the table, to keep a house, those types of things, okay? So that, in a nutshell, is what the message that I want to share with you. Now, one of the things that I do, I wanted to share a couple of stories that I actually skipped over. Let me go back and share these with you. One of the women that I worked with early on, she came to me post-divorce. And she actually had said, I've got a good pension, I'm keeping the home. This is my home, I built it for retirement, I'm not giving it up. So I've got to hang on to it, and I can afford the mortgage. But she did not realize at the time that she signed that divorce decree that she wasn't taking into consideration all of the maintenance expenses with her home. So a couple of months after divorce, she found out she really couldn't afford the pool maintenance and the yard maintenance and all of that, so she ended up deciding to sell the home. The unfortunate thing is that she discovered after the fact that her husband had spent 100% of the home equity line. So there was no equity, and it was actually going to cost her to sell her home. This is something that should have been disclosed and discovered in the divorce process. Another story I'm going to share with you on not knowing your assets. A gentleman found me because of my certified divorce financial analyst designation, and he proudly came in with his wife because he wanted me to tell her that the offer that he was making her was not only fair, it was good and to her advantage. And unfortunately for him, I wasn't the bearer of good news that day. He came in and he had everything drawn up. He had written it himself. He worked for Alabama Power Company. They have pensions. Most of the big companies still have pension income. There was absolutely no mention of the pension. So that was the first clue that, oops, we might have forgotten something here. But then the second thing is that they had two homes, the marital home and then a beach condo. He said, wife, soon to be ex, I'm going to go ahead and pull money out of my 401k and buy you a new home so you can be close to the grandkids. You won't have to worry about that, and then I'm going to keep the marital home and the beach condo. Okay, thinking it looks really, really fair. What do y'all see wrong with it? He's using money from the 401k that is literally already half hers, and he's making that distribution, which is going to increase their income taxes for that year. So we decided that it wasn't the best situation. She hired me. I got her with a good attorney. She ended up getting half of everything, and she went and bought her own damn house. So, with her money. But those are some of the real life stories that we experience, and that's my goal, is to help you not make those errors. So what I want to tell you here is that There's a survey that I'm offering for you. You can grab the QR code, and ladies, I'm going to ask you to do this now, because if you don't do this now, you are likely not to do it. So grab the QR code, get the quiz, take it when it's convenient for you, but within a week you will have results. What we're doing is taking the temperature of your marital situation regarding money. Okay? So we're going to come back and let you know, do you have issues regarding money and conversations around money with your spouse? And with that, we will come back. It's not working. Oh, darn. Okay. So I will have to get that to you. I have no clue why it's not working. All right. So we'll figure that out. I definitely want you all to be able to get this. It's very, very valuable. And I do promise as soon as you respond, I'll get a follow-up with you.
Your code isn't working.
No, that's what I know. It's not working, right?
Yeah.
We're going to get a workaround for you. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so you can, it is on my website. I understand it's there, so if you want to visit my website, you can pull it up there. In worst case, send me a quick email and I'll get that out to you, and I apologize for that. So the reality for you all today is, it's not an if but a when we're going to be on our own. So I'm going to ask you to pull your head out of the sand, whether money's your thing or not your thing, whether you're the financially savvy person in your house or not. Just be smart, learn what you need to know so that you're prepared when life happens. And the main reason for that is because a man is not a financial plan. Okay? Thank you.